60 seconds, gentlemen. He's good for something every now and then. What was it? I don't. Good evening. We'll call this January 18th full council meeting to order. This will be a first for us. We are going to observe 60 seconds of silence. If you would either reflect, just be quiet if you feel like that, or you're welcome to pray. At this time, I'll be praying to my God. And please remain standing after the 60 seconds, and then we will go into the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. All right. Ms. Skelton, would you please do a roll call for us?
Yes. Mr. George?
Here.
Ms. Barraza?
Here.
Ms. Young?
Here.
Mr. Olson? Mr. Bradley?
Here.
Mr. Westcott?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Gray?
Here.
Mr. Keller?
Here.
Mayor Teague?
Here.
Mr. Smith? Myself, do you have a quorum?
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you've had an opportunity to overlook the minutes from, you've had an opportunity to overlook them, the minutes from December 12th and December 21st, 2023, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes from both meetings.
I have a motion from Mr. Keller and a second from Mr. Gray. All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those minutes are approved. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the financials as submitted in your packets in writing.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion for Mr. Westcott and a second for was it Mr. Keller? Yes, sir. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so the financials will be accepted there. Moving on, the mayor's report, Dr. Shellman did her report there. Personnel Committee?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We met a couple of weeks ago, and the Personnel Committee approved an ordinance, or a due pass amending various sections of the personnel policy manual, mainly regarding around employee travel, and Mayor, I present this as a motion to adopt.
Have a motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion on this item? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, No, it didn't say reading, yes, sir. Okay, all right. So we need a motion on a reading. That wasn't in there. We want to do three, one of three?
I make a motion to read the first of three times, title by title only, with a short description.
All in favor?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion.
Yeah.
We need to approve this now, so we need to be, I'm sorry. We need to approve this right now, just make sure Tanessa, we need to approve this right now, right? Yes.
Okay, so we're going to need a motion to, we're going to have an amended motion to read one time only, is that? Suspend the rules?
A short description.
Is that possible? Mr. Smith is shaking his head.
No, if you want to suspend the rules and read by one title only, that's the motion that needs to be.
Okay, so suspend the rules and read by, one time by title only. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
Okay. Let's have a motion to suspend the rules and read one time only by title, and I have a motion and a second. Who's the second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Keller. Okay, sir.
There needs to be a vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
An ordinance amending various sections of the City of Russellville Personal Policy Manual, and for purposes this ordinance, if passed, would amend three sections accordingly. Section 4, matters affecting the staff and police. Subsection 3, vacancies and promotions. Section 3, general employee benefits. Subsection 14, catastrophic illness bank. And Section 2, general employee policy. Subsection 20, travel expenses, by changing the submission reimbursement time limit from 60 to 90 days. All attached is Exhibits A, B, and C, incorporated herein by reference.
I have a motion to adopt. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on to Finance Committee, Mr. Westcott.
Okay, beginning, Mayor, with our agenda that we went over last week. Item number 1 is an appropriation request from the 2023 carryover balance, the sum of $68,971.49 to be used to provide funding for the key card entry system for City Hall. And we present item number 1 as a motion to adopt.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion will pass.
Item number 2, and before I forget, let me backtrack. All of these have been presented as, with a recommendation of approval. Item number 2 is consideration of a resolution that would authorize the mayor and city clerk treasurer to enter into an agreement with the Boys and Girls Club of the River Valley Incorporated, doing business as the L.V. Williamson Boys and Girls Club for services for calendar year 2024 and for other purposes. And we present item number 2 as a motion to adopt.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Item number 3 is an appropriation request from the Criminal Justice Order 1014 Fund, the sum of $30,115 to be used to replace a car for the police department. We present item number 3 as a motion to adopt.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on.
Item number 4 is an appropriation request. This is actually a pass-through funding for the COPS hiring grant into the general fund, the sum of $314,183.88 to be used to fund the hiring of 5 additional police officers, and we present item number 4 as a motion to adopt.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on.
Item number 5 is an ordinance. It is consideration of an ordinance that would amend ordinance number 2437, which established an ambulance fee schedule for the city of Russellville and would provide a discount to all self-pay patients without insurance if their bill is paid in full under certain requirements or conditions, rather. That being an ordinance, we present item number 5 as a motion to suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read first of 3 readings by title with a short explanation.
All right, have a motion on the reading. Have a second? Wait a second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, sir.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 2437, which established an ambulance fee schedule for the city of Russell, Arkansas, to provide a discount for all self-pay patients without insurance. The bill is paid in full for other purposes. This ordinance, if passed, would make an amendment to the rates on ground mileage and ALS 2, add an extraction fee, and also provided discounts for people with and without insurance if the bill, for a 10% discount on their bill for people with or without insurance that pay it in full. To protect yourself, yes, in my opinion. Otherwise, what are you approving? I mean,
because there are safeguards up till now, long before they reach us. Correct. The finance department, is there no safeguard on item number 1 of this? Because we've not received individual.
we haven't received I mean, the documentation on this yet.
Moving on, item,
The backup document, the receipts for item one on the Boys and Girls Club.
so,
Okay, there is a question. That was the end of our agenda from last week. So beginning with our agenda from 5:30 this morning, or this evening rather, there is a question relating to item number 1, which is consideration of reimbursement request for the Boys and Girls Club for the 4th quarter of 2023 in the amount of $26,919.74. Now, this has been submitted as far as the amount in accordance with their contract with the city. What we do not have in our possession this evening, as I understand it, is the actual receipts for those expenses.
all right, so, actually, Mr. Norton and, Ms. Givens just actually left. He said he sent them via email, but we did not receive them, so, do you want to table that to February 6th? So we can, have backup documentation?
Is that going to cause a financial burden for the Boys and Girls Club, or for our financial department, or for the people for whom we owe if we postpone this, however long we plan to postpone it this evening?
Miss Skelton has just texted Mr. Norton, and he is actually on his way back, so that if we wanted to go ahead and do 2, 3, and 4, and then he could be back and maybe answer that question for us, would that be okay, Mr. Westcott?
I asked the Finance Committee, or the council in general, if you all would mind me moving item number 1 to the last part of this agenda. In fact, it being part of the delineated agenda, I move that we move item number 1 to the end of this agenda.
A motion second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. Item number 2 is consideration of a resolution that would authorize the mayor and city clerk treasurer to sign a memorandum of understanding between the city of Russellville, Arkansas, and Friends of the Lattimore Tourist Home, this being a continuation of last year's memorandum. And we present item number 2 as a motion to adopt.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on.
Item number 3 is an appropriation request from the 2023 carryover budget for the general fund, the sum of $18,535 to be used for additional funding for the finance director's salary adjustment, and we present item number 3 as a motion to adopt.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on.
Item number 4 is an appropriation request from the 2023 carryover budget for the general fund, the sum of $22,500 to be used for the deposits on some things used for the upcoming eclipse, and we present item number 4 as a motion to adopt.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Do we know how close he is? Here, I believe, no, I thought I saw somebody out there. I don't know. Okay.
Moving
Troy's
back
coming.
up to item number 1, consideration for reimbursement request from the Boys and Girls Club for the fourth quarter of 2023 in the amount of $26,919.74.
Please approach the microphone if you don't mind, Mr. Norton.
What are we paying for?
Where we at first? Let me ask you that.
The reimbursement for
okay.
fourth quarter of last year.
From last quarter, we have the volleyball equipment that we paid for. It's mostly for some of the background checks for athletics for the coaches, because we have to do background checks to make sure they're eligible to coach our kids and stuff. Then we're paying for some equipment that we got, and some basketball equipment. We got new pads and stuff like that for our goals and stuff like that. And then some new basketballs, because those basketballs are pretty high when it comes to that. So that's basically what we're paying for. Then the insurance that covers the kids if somebody gets hurt and everything.
I have a question, and I don't know whether to address it to you necessarily or to the city staff. When the Boys and Girls Club have expenses for which the city needs to reimburse, as is the case here, what is the procedure before this information reaches the council? It leaves your hands, reaches someone at the city level, and then at the very end of things, after everybody's approved it and said, yes, this is in accordance with their contract, it gets on the agenda right here.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, we email. It used to be Robin and everything, but it's a new lady now. And we email, after we get everything, I email it to her.
Do we have someone on our end, on the city end, who has looked through these expenses, the hard
It
copies
should
of
be
that, and
Miss
to know that
Fioretti.
everything is in
Yes.
line with their contract?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Deanna does, and then her and Ms. Skelton put it on our agenda.
And there are safeguards in place should we reimburse an expense that later on we learned was not or should not have been reimbursed. Is that correct?
You have a total amount that you're going to pay them, that you've agreed to pay them $100,000. I would assume if there was a situation where they turned in a receipt that was something that you did not want to reimburse, then they would probably give you a different receipt that you would say that you would want to reimburse.
If that
Well,
happens,
For lack of a better way to say that, you have agreed to pay them $100,000 over a year's
Sure.
time, and your finance clerk is making sure that you don't go over that $100,000.
I don't want to put us in any danger legally or whatever, but I don't want to hold up their financials for the sake of us not having the hard copies right here in front of us, trusting that there is someone at the city level who does have those hard copies in hand.
And
So they do have those hard copies in hand at the city level, is that right?
I would
Robin, before Robin retired, I send everything to her. She usually have all of
Yeah.
that, the copies of all that stuff I send her for the quarter.
Specific to this item,
Yes.
is there someone at the city level who has the hard copies
I sent it
related
to
to this
Deanna.
request?
Miss Fioretti should have those, and I'm trying to get a hold of her right now to make sure.
thank you.
Okay. Okay.
It went to the new lady, finance
Okay.
at Russellville.org.
Deanna would be getting.
That's what
Deanna would
Deanna
get that,
told me
so-
to send it
okay,
to.
Deanna, get it. So I don't believe it would be. I don't believe there'd be an appropriation here without documentation to back. It did not make it to the packet, but I don't believe Deanna would have forwarded that if there was not documentation. Let me ask you this, just for the sake of comfort. would it be an issue if we push this to February 6th? It's not gonna hurt you guys at all. It's not gonna push
No.
you, it's not gonna put you in a bind.
No, and I could resend it if I need to, but I still got copies of everything, and I can resend it if I need to, but that's the email she told me to
Yes.
send it to.
If we could move this to the February 6th finance meeting if you would like. They said that it would not put them in any bind at all. So if the council would be okay with that.
Can you clarify to me what the city is missing?
What-
Like you have
we-
the request, but not the documentation.
The receipts are not in their packets as presented to them, and so that's,
We'll just resend tomorrow.
I can resend it tomorrow, and you want me to send it to
So-
you too?
So in the past, when you guys would send it to Robin, you would send your electric bill, everything that went with that amount that you were requesting, you would send her, scan it in and send it to her, and then she would submit it to me, and that way the council would have all the documentation of what bills you're paying and what we're reimbursing you for.
Yes. We have all of that, so I can
You'll just
resend all of that.
resend it and include me, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, that
do
won't
you
be a
have Ms.
problem.
Do you have Ms. Skelton's email?
She just gave it to me tonight. I got
okay.
the appropriate email address now, so.
Do you saying that one of the things to reimburse is volleyball?
The equipment,
Volleyball equipment?
yes.
Well, volleyball's not in the contract.
That's what we,
I'm looking at it right here.
It's not, but that was one of the things.
that was the one things we talked about when we
did talk about
first,
that.
when we talked about that, that's the one thing we talked about.
Do we need to
Starting
amend the
volleyball.
contract then? I think if that would.
We'll start in September.
But that's what we talked about when we added, because we were
What,
talking about
Miss-
adding volleyball.
What Mr. Smith is saying is if there's going to be reimbursements, then it would need to be, you would need to amend the contract. Is that what you're saying, Mr.
Well,
Smith?
it needs to be put in if that's what the city wants to do.
Yeah.
amended after the fact.
So does the contract start with Boys and Girls Club, or is it our contract, or how'd the contract come up? How'd we
It's
come
a
up with-
renewable contract it shows basketball, flag football, swim, softball, and
Softball,
T-ball.
T-ball.
So those are the
did
things, so
approve-
you would need to, if the council so chose, they could amend that contract and add that so that those would be reimbursable
Well, I
expenses.
just want to remind for the record that we did discuss volleyball. That was the reason they were bringing this forward. And one more question, is tonight's lack of this being in our packet, is that something the city side that didn't get in, or is that?
I don't have that answer for you at this point, Mr. Gray. I have reached out to Ms. Fioretti, and she is not answering at this point in time.
Mayor, all things being considered that we have heard on this item, I present item number 1 as a motion to table until our next finance meeting.
Have a motion to table? A motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
It was Mr. George. Okay. So you had a 6-1. Do you need to do a roll call? Okay. All right, okay. Thank you.
That's the last of our agenda. I yield the floor back to you.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Norton, Ms. Gibbons. Thank
So
you.
do, I need to resend everything?
Yes, and we'll get you taken care of. And
With
we do apologize for any
Oh, no,
inconvenience.
no problem. I just want to make
So,
sure it's right
so,
and
okay.
everything, so.
I will follow up with you. I'll follow up with you personally and make sure that we have all of that.
Okay.
I'll make it a point that I
I'll do it
follow up
first
with you
thing in the
personally.
morning.
No problem.
I'll resend it to, Ms. Skelton and, what's her name, Deanna?
Yes.
I'll resend it first thing in the morning.
Okay. Thank you
No
so
problem.
much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.
Now, do we want, since last year's contract didn't itemize volleyball, even though it was an item of discussion, and one of the reasons for the increase, is that an issue with the reimbursement for our final quarter? Go ahead and include it.
Depends on what the reimbursements are. I think that would depend on what the reimbursement requests are,
Okay,
Mm.
if they're associated with volleyball or not.
okay.
Okay. Well, I'll get that to y'all first thing in the morning. Thank you.
Yeah, so we need to amend that, so, okay. Where?
Finance.
Oh, okay. So do we want to, we'll discuss that, and then we'll bring that back. We'll bring, okay. All right, moving on to unfinished old business. Item 1 is consideration of an ordinance for the vacation of 20-foot alleyway behind lots 3, block 1, North Side Edition, City of Russellville, Arkansas, for other purposes. This is the third and final reading.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read by title only with a short explanation.
All right, have a motion on the reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, do we second? Did I not get a second? I thought I heard a second. I have a motion on the reading, and I have a second. Mr. George, I thought I heard one, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, sir.
An ordinance vacating and abandoning a portion of a 20-foot alley behind Lot 3, Block 1, North Side Edition, City of Russell, Arkansas, and for other purposes. This would vacate and abandon any city interest in a 20-foot alley behind Lot 3, Block 1, North Side Edition, City of Russellville. That is further shown and described in Exhibits A and B attached here with this ordinance.
Motion to adopt.
Have a motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I'm moving on to item 2. Consideration of an ordinance codifying existing offenses involving public safety, health, and welfare, declaring violations of the code to be misdemeanor, providing penalties, providing for the repeal of existing ordinances or sections or ordinances in conflict herein or other purposes. This is third and final reading.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read by title with a short explanation.
Having a motion and a second on the reading, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Sir?
An ordinance codifying the existing offenses involving public safety, health, and welfare, declaring violations of the code to be a misdemeanor, providing penalties, providing for the repeal of existing ordinances or sections of ordinance in conflict herewith and for other purposes. This ordinance, if passed, would codify the pre-existing ordinances as shown in Section 6 of the adopting ordinance into one health, safety, and welfare code of the city, provides a penalty section consistent with the state law, and sets out the titles for each of the chapters for each of the codifying ordinances offenses.
Motion to adopt.
Have a motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on to item 3. Consideration of an ordinance codifying existing city ordinances involving traffic, parking offenses, declaring violations of the code to be civil violation, providing penalties, providing for the repeal of existing city ordinances or sections of ordinances in conflict herein and for other purposes. This will be third and final reading.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read by title only with a short explanation.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on the reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Sir?
Just a second.
You're fine, sir.
To the new one here. An ordinance codifying existing traffic and parking offenses, declaring violation of the code to be a civil violation, provide penalties, providing for the repeal of existing ordinance or sections of codes in conflict herewith and for other purposes. This ordinance, if passed, would codify existing city ordinances of traffic and parking offenses into one code, would set all of those to be a civil violation, and the penalty be consistent with the state law, and would repeal all of the other previous ordinances as shown in Section 6, would repeal those and make them null and void at that point.
Motion to adopt.
I have a motion and a second to adopt. That was Mr. Gray on the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Moving on to item 4, correct? Am I sure I'm at? I lost my track. Consideration of an ordinance codifying existing city franchise fees with utilities for use of the city right-of-way, setting a fee for the usage of city right-of-ways, providing for repeal of existing ordinances or sections or ordinances in conflict herein, and for other purposes. This is the third and final reading.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read by title only with a short explanation.
All right, I have a motion and a second on the reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Sir?
An ordinance codifying the existing franchise fees with utilities for use of the city's right-of-ways, setting a fee for the usage of the city's right-of-way, providing for the repeal of existing ordinances or sections of ordinances in conflict herewith and other purposes. This ordinance, if passed, would codify the various prior ordinances which set up franchise fees with the existing utilities in the city that can be found in the previous ordinances in Section 6 of the adopting ordinance. It also modernizes by identifying the current name of the utilities within the code from the old previous utilities names or their predecessors. It would repeal all the prior franchises as set in Section 6. It would keep the same franchise, it would keep the franchise fee the same for, as already previously set by the prior ordinances in Section 6.
Motion to adopt?
I have a motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on to item 5. Do it. Oh. Somebody need water? Moving on to item 5, consideration of an ordinance amending the Russellville Oakland Cemetery Commission Code, adopted ordinance number 2460, and for other purposes. This will be the third and final reading.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read by title only with a short explanation.
I have a motion and a second. On the reading, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Sir?
An ordinance amending the Oakland Cemetery Code Commission Code, Oakland Cemetery Commission Code adopted by ordinance number 2460 and for other purposes. This ordinance would make a change in Article 2, Chapter 8, Section 15 of meetings, subsection 15.1, which would allow the commission to meet quarterly as opposed to monthly.
Motion to adopt?
Have a motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on to item 6, consideration of an ordinance for the zone text amendment to adopt proposed changes by the Russellville zoning code. This will be the third and final reading.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read by title only with a short explanation.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Sir?
An ordinance amending the zoning code for the city of Russellville, Arkansas, ordinance number 1443, and for other purposes. This ordinance would amend the current zoning code adopted by ordinance 2443 by adding Article 3, Sections 30, 31, 32, amending Article 7, Sections 1 and 7, adding definitions to Article 12 concerning definitions, and amending the table of permitted uses. This would involve data centers and noise volume based upon that.
Motion to adopt?
I have a motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on to item 7, have a consideration of an ordinance consideration of ordinance rezoning certain realty in the city of Russellville, Arkansas for other purposes located at 725 South Macon Avenue. This is the second of 3 readings.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read the second of 3 readings by title with a short explanation.
A second.
I have a motion and a second on the reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, sir.
An ordinance rezoning certain realty in the city of Russellville, Arkansas, and for the purposes, this ordinance, if passed, would rezone property located at 725 South Macon Avenue from R2 to M1 as further shown in Exhibit A.
moving on to item 8. We have a consideration of an ordinance amending the city administration code adopted by ordinance number 2460 for other purposes. This is going to be second and final reading.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the full reading requirement, read the second and final time by title with a short explanation.
All right, I have a motion, I have a second on the reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, sir.
An ordinance amending the city administration code adopted by ordinance number 2460 and for other purposes. This ordinance would codify the municipal initiative and referendum petition process that is previously adopted by ordinance numbers 1635 and 1842, and would put them into a new article, Article 4 in the city administration code, and would not change any of the time periods as previously set by the prior ordinances.
Okay.
Motion to adopt.
I have a motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on to new business. Item 1 is a consideration of an ordinance amending the City of Russellville, Arkansas Stormwater Management and Drainage Ordinance for the City of Russellville adopted as ordinance number 1675 and for other purposes. This is being requested as a item be read one time only.
Mayor, as a member of that Stormwater Committee, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read one time only by a title with a very short explanation.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second on the reading. All in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? All right, sir.
Ordinance amending the City of Russellville, Arkansas Stormwater Management and Drainage Ordinance for the City of Russellville, Arkansas, adopted by ordinance number 1675 for the purposes. This ordinance would transfer the jurisdiction of the stormwater drainage ordinance appeal process from the Stormwater Drainage Appeal Board to the Board of Adjustment.
All right.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion?
I just wanted to let the two members know that your burden has been lifted now, that you're no longer have to serve on that board.
No. Who's our second?
Mr. Keller.
Mr. Keller. Okay, lost my track here. Okay. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So okay, here we go. Get myself back on track here. Item 2, consideration of an ordinance authorizing the extension, is that supposed to say sooner outside the city limits to the city limits of Russellville to Transformation Life Church and for other purposes. This is being requested to be read one time only.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read one time only by title with a short explanation.
I have a motion and a second on the reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, sir.
An ordinance authorizing extension of sewer outside the city limits of the City of Russellville to Transformation Life Church for the purposes. This ordinance, if passed, as required by ordinance number 1458, which requires the approval of all water and sewer extensions outside the city limits by the City Court Board of Directors, the Planning Commission, and the City Council.
Motion to adopt.
I have a motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on to item 3, consideration of an ordinance to rezone certain realty in the city of Russellville, Arkansas for other purposes. It's located along South Macon Avenue and Highway 331. This is the first of 3 readings.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read the first of 3 readings by title with a short explanation.
I have a motion and a second on the reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, sir.
An ordinance rezoning certain really the city of Russellville, Arkansas, and for other purposes. This ordinance passed would rezone properties from R2 and C2 to M1 that are located on South Macon Avenue and State Highway 331, is further identified by the Polk County Assessor's Office parcel numbers as listed within the ordinance, and is further identified in Exhibit A, which is attached with this ordinance and incorporated herein by reference.
All right. Thank you, sir. Two things before we go. Just for clarification, Mr. Smith, item 2 that was presented in finance earlier was the entering into the agreement with the Boys and Girls Club. Do we need to bring an amended version of that to include volleyball to next week's agenda?
Yes, and also, if you remember from the contract, it also has the age limits. They've not provided an age limit bracket to put it in as all the other sports have, so that's information that will be required.
So, Mr. Bradley, can you work with them on getting that contract amended and the age limits? Thank you, sir, so that we can clarify that. Also, just a reminder from Ms. Skelton for all of us to turn in our income or statement of finance, which is required by all elected officials by the end of the year, or by the end of January. I will entertain no one has anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, we adjourn. Thank you for coming out tonight.